Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome to the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Everyone, welcome back into the program. I'm your host, Ben.
And I'm your co-host, Carissa.
Perfect. You got it. And everyone, hey, welcome into the program. So today on the show, we have a special segment where we will be doing something a little bit different, and it's going to involve smart kitchen appliances, I guess is the best way to kind of do it. Unfortunately, when I tried to look up, smart kitchen, gadgets, I came up with like a lot of like $3 plastic stuff that, no, it's not really on our purview. We're looking for high tech stuff. Now, these products are meant to be kind of like a, kind of what's the latest and greatest, what's different, what's new out there in terms of cooking. Because when you think about cooking, let's face it, it hasn't really gotten all that different than it has been for hundreds or thousands of years. Add heat and it works as kind of an external stomach. You make things taste better, you make them easier to digest. And hey, it's why we're all not just running around eating raw meat and raw vegetables. Hey, things have gotten better, and we're going to try to highlight that with stuff that, let's face it, you probably don't need. We have a toaster in here that really exemplifies that very, very well. But hey, it is technology, it's new, it's different, and I think it's going to be fun.
And it's cool.
Definitely. So with that being said, everyone, before we go ahead and get started, let's go ahead and just mention real quick, computeramerica.com. That's where you'll find everything, including past shows, future shows, all the shows, podcasts, articles, reviews, links to social media. Everything that we do here at the show, you can find on our website. While you're there, be sure to give us a like, give us a follow, and hey, just, kind of keep up to date with what we're doing. We're heading into some tumultuous times here with the holidays. Starting on December 24th, and I think it's all the way to January 2nd or 3rd, whichever is the Monday after, we will have Best of Computer Americas, but everything other than that should be wide open. We should have regular shows with guest interviews and news, so don't worry about that. So with that being said, Carissa, unless you had anything other than that to announce.
I'm ready.
All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and get started with our special segments. And Chris, you found a number of different audio clips here that we could definitely listen to. Let's see if this is going to work or if I had to change my browser source and all that good stuff. I actually do. And let's see. No, unfortunately, no, that's actually like a 12-minute clip. I actually can't use that one. So you have special segments. You did your due diligence. I did not download them in time, so we'll work on that. But everyone, special segment, here we go. Good enough. Yes, add Chris's sound effects in there. We'll have something different for that. But I definitely enjoy these special segments, and they're really designed to highlight different topics. We have done some in the past about why you don't vote online. We've done some that have included, just fun tech facts. We have done some that have been, I think yesterday's show, that was actually a best of Computer America. We did everything about the social credit system in China, things like that. Just topics that deserve a deep dive. And, well, this one, probably not too deep. And I want to really make sure that everyone out there listening, we are not endorsed. We're not paid. This is not paid endorsement. This is not paid advertising for any of these. Just some of the latest areas of technology that we could find here for the show. So, yeah, you can definitely give that a look. Okay, so with that being said, why don't we go ahead and start with... I have these ordered in a special order, and I think this one. Okay, so we're going to start off with... the booze, the drinks, and this is by Perfect Company. If you are familiar with the products, then, well, I think they only have really the one right now, and it's about the Perfect Drink Pro. So for all of you out there that are maybe not the best bartenders, obviously people who are very, very good at bartending, who think that they can make the perfect drink and it's going to be better than anything else a machine can do, then don't worry about this one. But if you are not the perfect bartender, this could be for you. And, they have a little product video. We're going to show this here in the background while we talk about it, but it's, cool. It's so for everyone out there just kind of watching, it's essentially a food scale, although in this case it's mainly targeted towards drinks. But it looks like a food scale, and what you do is you connect it to your phone, and your phone is able to kind of display not just the weights and the scales and all that kind of stuff, but more to the point, it's able to connect to the scale and give you recipes. You tell the app what booze you have in your collection. So if you have vodka, spirits, whiskey, wine, whatever, just tell everything you have, and then it's going to show a number of recipes that you're able to make with what you have. It's going to be everything from martinis, vintage, seasonal, tropical, anything that you could possibly want that you have. So it's going to automatically filter out everything that you don't. And then it's going to tell you exactly what to do. You take your shaker, you tear out your scale, and as you pour in your ingredients, it's going to, kind of, and they have an example here on the screen. Maybe you start with, exactly, 0.75 ounces of gin. And as you're pouring the gin into your shaker, it's going to kind of fill up as you fill up your physical shaker. And then it's going to tell you exactly when to stop. And then you go to, your mixers, your fillers, your juices, everything else that you could possibly need. And it's going to go step by step, one by one, and in real time show you how much of each one that you need to do to get the perfect drink. And you can do 1 serving, 2 serving, all that kind of thing. They have a built-in timer, tells you how long to shake or stir your drink for perfect dilution and chill, and then out comes the drink that you have selected, made by you. It's you still do a lot of the manual labor, but this covers a lot of the guesswork and having to look it up and use measuring cups and measuring things. No, this does it all by weight. Carissa,
it's super great, and I think it's great, especially for things like parties and stuff like that. When you're making a lot of drinks, like this is just going to be invaluable.
Yeah, it's
one day when we can have parties again.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, I think that for people who are maybe learning drinks for the first time, something like this could be a way to, I don't know, kind of introduce you into, kind of being a drink mixer. I've never really done this, so I'm not very intimidated by mixing drinks. I mean, it's just booze, but I will say that looking at some of these ingredients here that have, or some of these recipes that have 5 or 6 different ones that go in different order, and you shake them at different points. It's a good way to learn, I would assume.
Absolutely, and obviously you're going to learn how to do it if you do it enough times. So it's just going to give you that memory as well. I saw something kind of similar to this, but it was more, I can't remember what it was called, but it was more like a Keurig situation, but for mixed drinks. I thought that was really interesting.
That is, and I think you're talking about, let's see, I have these listed here. We have that coming up here next. And I think,
Nice.
yeah, I had that here. I'm looking through all the different links I have. It's called like the Perfect Bartender, I think, or something like that.
So
Let's
here's
see.
Barsys. But yeah, I didn't look quite like that one. It was a different one, but this is essentially the same kind of idea.
Yeah, here. Barsy, and that's something similar, but we're gonna get to that in just a second. But you can see here, just real quick on the screen, all the different recipes that I don't know how many of these: the Jedi Mind Probe, the Mad Cow, the Toxic Refuse.
I've never heard of any of those.
Yeah, the Melon Ball Shooter. I don't know. There's a lot of different, I guess, recipes that you people have come up with to get sloshed in your spare time. But I
guess
definitely
if you don't know what you're looking for, then this is good too, because it gives you like an overall list of like what you can do. So it's not your usual stuff all the time.
exactly, and I definitely like the fact that it's real time and you can kind of kind of see yourself pouring it as you kind of go. The other thing that I really like about this one, and just to mention the price offhandedly, I think this thing's like $90, $80, $90. They have different ones for like smoothies and kind of the other one, but the app should be free. The food scale is $100, and at the same time, we're going to find out that $100 is actually kind of on the low end of these smart appliances, but it's not too expensive, and it's definitely more affordable than some of the other things we're going to talk about. But yeah, I one theme that this one's kicking off, and a lot of the others are going to show, is that, apps seem to be a big part of everyone's smart appliance. It's not just that they're smart on their own, but it's also that they're smart with the app. So there you go. That was our first one, and I think we're going to, like Krista said, jump over to our next one that is kind of more of like a full-blown solution. And it looks a little weird because it kind of doubles as liquor storage as well. And I don't know the best way, immediately it kind of comes to like having things on tap in like a restaurant or a bar situation. But yeah, this is for the home. This is not really for a commercial setting. But yeah, coming in at about $1,250 if you feel like really going out. Yeah, I know, blowing out the works. Yeah, Barsys 2.0. Barsys 2.0. And
Right.
yeah, you can see it here for everyone out there watching. It looks like a typical kind of drink vending machine, except on top, instead of being all hidden and that kind of thing, you turn your liquor upside down and store it on top of the machine. And yeah, there you go.
It looks pretty cool. It'd be great in like a home bar in like a basement or something like that. It would look super cool.
It's
A little
definitely
man cave.
It's definitely something different, and you can see it here. So you put your liquor in up top, and here in the example, it looks like they have vodka, gin, rum, whiskey, that kind of thing. And they say that it's an automated cocktail making machine, also known as a robotic bartender. You can create perfect drinks at home with nothing more than the click of a button. Simply load your machine with your 5 favorite spirits and 3 mixers. So I guess the mixers, and you can kind of see it here on the right, you throw your mixers in here on the side. And yeah, it will automatically pull from these. So you can have any kind of drink that you want. So 5 spirits, 3 mixers, select your cocktail from the Barsy app, and watch as the beverage is poured with precision and speed. So yeah, they even have a little video here that we're going to go ahead and put that on the background. But Barsys 2.0, so this is the second version, will move left and right as you kind of pour. And there you go. So the mixers are actually canisters. So if you want like orange juice or milk or whatever, yeah, you can pour it in there. So they say dispensing the exact amounts and can make hundreds of cocktails. You can customize the drinks to meet your own preferences. So unlike the other one where it's like, here's how to make the drink and here's the dimensions. If you feel like you want something a little stronger or a little weaker, you can tweak the drink to match your preferences. So let's see. So the lighting feature lets you know the progress on your drink all the way to completion. And again, you can kind of see that little drink holder there where it will actually kind of move it left to right. It doesn't actually pipe things all through one nozzle. No, it actually moves it left to right. So a little bit of show.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, a little bit of flair to the whole thing. So uplighting prominently displays each spirit you choose, so guests will always know what you're serving them is the best. And yeah, there you go. Automated cocktail maker. What do you think, Carissa?
I think it's super cool, and I like that it has a little light on it. I wonder if you could connect it to like some music and have it like bump to the speakers. That would make it extra cool.
I'm sure that you. No, I don't know. It wouldn't be too hard. Maybe. It wouldn't be too hard if they don't have that feature, but yeah, I could definitely see that as well.
I think it's good. I think it's an interesting product.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what really, kind of really drew me to this. Of course, this thing comes with an app and you can browse all the different cocktails that you want with it. And you can, of course, whatever spirits you have. This would be good for people who are, I was about to say like professional regular drinkers, which I believe just is a medical condition and should be checked at. But, if... I don't know, maybe we teleport back to like the 1930s, 1950s, where everyone has a martini after work. If you have like a regular drink that you enjoy, and we're assuming there's no medical, kind of addiction going on here. If there's a drink that you enjoy, you can have that on a regular basis, very, very simply. Like you don't have to mix it yourself every single time. So,
right, you just put a glass there and it goes, assuming all your stuff's stocked.
Or maybe if you're having some kind of party, and I've heard, people are really into like gin parties, where every drink has like a gin. Even though gin is disgusting, I'll be the first to say it. Gin parties, load this thing up with a bunch of gins, throw in your different mixers. And for, like you said, Carissa, for a party, instead of having one person sitting there making drinks for everyone, no, this could probably make drinks for 20 people for the entire night pretty easily.
Right. And especially, if we're thinking about cost of things too, let's say you hire a bartender, right? How much does that cost? I don't know. Is it less than what this would be, depending on the size of the party and how many people
for one-time use? For one-time use, I absolutely think that a bartender would be the way to go. If you throw parties on the regular, if you find yourself making drinks often and being kind of tedious, this is an appliance that would last you hopefully a number of years. 3, 4, 5 years. And right now, of course, with COVID, you're not going to be throwing parties all that often. But if you have, friends over every weekend or you do something like that, this would probably pay for itself. If nothing else, consider, for about $1,000, I'm sure that it will go on sale at some point. But, for about $1,200, imagine you're paying yourself $12 an hour to bartend for your friends. That would take about 100 hours, and 100 hours spread over, 52 weekends, 2 hours.
That's true.
So someone could justify their time is more valuable than making all these drinks for people,
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So, yeah, I thought that, and again, for Computer America and just for the technology segment, I was like, a machine that mixes and makes drinks with the push of a button, you just add everything and then you're good to go for, as long as the liquid lasts. So I thought that was pretty high tech and definitely something different. Like we said at the beginning, a lot of these things, some of you out there may be listening and just saying, oh, hey, I could just mix my own drinks. You absolutely could. And for most people, you absolutely should. But when it comes to technology, I just want to let you know, this is a thing. You can have a robot bartender. And in the grand scheme of things, as far as some of these appliances goes, it's not the most expensive thing in the world. So.
Right. Hey, does that connect to like a timer, for example? Like, could you time this thing to have a drink ready for you when you got home from work every day?
There is an app in the app, and they have some images here that I'm trying to open this up right now, and let's see screenshots.
Like, could you be in your car coming home from work and be like, "Man, I need a drink," and then it's just there when you show up?
Kudos to you for drinking and not driving. That's when you get home to do that. I'm looking here for timers, and let's see, they have all the ingredients that you could have and all the mixers and all the stuff that you can have. So you add all that in there. Looks like you have the recipes for all the different recipes, and then it tells you kind of how it's done. Now, to be fair, you could probably connect this to your phone and over Wi-Fi be able to activate it, in the car and be able to, have it sitting there waiting for you. As for a particular timer, no, I don't see that option in here. You can set up favorites, and again, it is internet connected, but probably not on a timer. So,
just curious.
Yeah, no. It's certainly possible. I'm just sure that that's more of a matter of, who would use that. And,
They probably don't want it timed anyway, so you're probably drinking too much if you have to time it.
Yes. If you have your alcoholism down to a routine, yeah, there you go. So now skipping from that, so that's all whatever. How about something to soak up all that booze? And we move over to this next article here where we're talking about toast. And this is, again, one of those things where it's like toasters. They've been around forever. Who thought that they needed to get these things high tech? And I'm with you. But because it's a fun show, we're going to go ahead and do it anyways. Something about seeing a toaster in giant bold letters is revolution, as in we're going to revolutionize toast. Sure, why not? Let's find out what they're doing. So this is by Revolution Cooking. There you go. But yeah, they claim to have the best high-tech toaster on the market. And here's how they do it. So obviously, simple is the first thing because let's face it, it's a freaking toaster. It has a touchscreen, so it wouldn't be a smart appliance if it didn't have a touchscreen. Touchscreen, and it makes it very clear. You select if you have a bagel, if you have an English muffin, if you have a piece of bread, if you have, any of like 17 different things that they offer to toast for you. And they mentioned that, and by the way, it includes waffles, pastries, muffins, bagels, frozen bread, fresh bread, whatever. Because each one of those things is going to toast slightly differently. And then the next one, on top of that, it's going to have something called the patented Insta Glow technology. So, Carissa, if you've ever used a toaster, you know that it takes a little while for the heating elements to actually heat up. And that ramp up time can affect your finished product.
That is true, but you're still toasting something.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that as everyone, even if it's like a $5, or like $2 thrift store kind of pickup, I mean, everyone learns their toaster. They're like, oh, well, that side's just going to heat that one a little bit differently than that side. And it's, takes. Right. Yeah. People are going to learn their toasters and they can do what this thing does, just kind of innately. But this one does it with technology.
Ooh, I kind of like the touchscreen, though, because that gives you more buttons to select different things rather than just the standard buttons, because it usually has the bagel, the waffle, the reheat, whatever it is. But this gives you a lot more options, which is interesting.
Right. And I'm getting really hungry just looking at these things. But I got to say that, the touchscreen does display how much longer it has left. You can actually see, kind of what it should look like inside. I don't think it's an actual camera that records what you're toasting. But yeah. And you can decide how dark you want it and just kind of be off to the races. They say that this thing will work with so many different breads and different kinds of things that it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. Again, there's not that much to say about it because it's a toaster. It's a toaster, exactly. But I did find it. I mean, this one I don't think comes with it does not come with an app, surprisingly. Though I got to say that the Instaglow heating system, one thing I mentioned that, but I didn't actually say it, heats up fast, sears the bread without drying it out, and it's crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside. And yeah, they mentioned that it's also fun somehow. Fun, simple interface, touchscreen options, countdown clock.
And games included. Wow.
Yes. Well, and actually it has a happy finishing chime to bring a little joy to your toasting. So
Adorable.
this one will not do, and I've seen other toasters do this. It will not toast like an image onto your toast or anything like that. No, this is simply just getting your waffle, getting your toast to the perfect temperature. So, looking through, there's safety, there's child lock and things like that. So I think...
What's this wacky thing going for?
I would like you to take a guess, Carissa. I would love you to take a guess on a smart toaster, please.
75.
You are so far out of the ballpark. I'm not even going to try to get you to get closer. $300, $299.95.
And it doesn't even toast images onto your toast. What a ripoff.
I know. It doesn't even
put custom images on.
You should be able to put custom images, custom sound effects when it's done,
It should put the jelly on for you. This is ridiculous.
And unfortunately, even though I said it actually does not come with an app, I actually wish it did, to be able to, control this thing a little bit better. Again, it is just a toaster. I mean, maybe the app would have been overkill, but I feel like the price is also overkill for $300. Throw everything at it, I guess, is what I'm, was kind of hoping for.
Yeah, totally. What an impressive, cost for a toaster.
Yeah.
Never in my life have
I will say,
that.
it is the most high-tech toaster I have found. Yes, that sentence will probably never leave my mouth again, but it is true. It is the most high-tech toaster I have found while doing this.
Still pretty cool.
It is. So there you go. There's that one. Let's see the next one. Also with the carbs, if you're a fan of carbs, this one may be for you as well. This is just the product page from Philips. And Carissa, have you ever made your own pasta?
I have not. My godfather did when I was younger, but I never did it.
There you go. Yeah. Something about making your own pasta where I've not done it either, but whenever I talk to people who have done it, they're like, oh, I would never go back to the dried stuff. I would never go back to boiling, boiling the pre-made stuff. Fresh pasta is best pasta. And I'm just sitting there like, I don't have that kind of time. It's so much work, it's so easy. It's so cheap to go to the grocery store. It's like, in some places like 60 cents for like a whole pound of pasta. But people love the fresh stuff. It apparently tastes better. Well, that's where this little doodad comes in. Is the Avance collection, and I'm leaning to Avance because it's pasta, Italian, whatever. Anyways, the Avance collection pasta maker. Full-blown pasta maker where you can make delicious fresh pasta, and it's never been easier. In as little as 10 minutes, you just add the ingredients and it does the rest. Simple assembly, hassle-free cleaning. It's an ideal tool for individual looking to experience and enjoying making pasta at home. And you can see it there. So they say here it's a pasta maker, fully automatic. Add the ingredients, it does the rest. After choosing the program and pressing the start button, obviously, the machine automatically mixes and kneads and extrudes all in one go.
Awesome.
They mentioned that you can customize it. So maybe if you want pasta with like a special kind of seasoning in it, or a certain amount of salt, or you could take out the salt, things like that. You can customize it to your preference. And then they even mentioned that you can add food coloring to the product, and you can customize the color of your pasta and things like that.
Cool.
So
Is there an app for this one?
I do not believe. I think this thing's all self-contained. It's all in its own thing. Good to go. Okay. So real quick, they also mentioned 4 shaping discs. So you can have spaghetti, penne, fettuccine, and lasagna pasta. So it's not just spaghetti. You can have all 4. And they even come with a little recipe book. But hey, pasta is pasta. I'm sure you have a recipe to go along with it. That's about it. It's again, much like the toaster. It's the price right here on the screen, $299.95. Pretty expensive, especially for knowing what I know about making pasta. It's like flour, a bit of salt, egg yolks, knead it together, roll it out into a flat sheet, and then slice it with a knife or some other kitchen appliance. Like, in all honesty, Yes, this thing is probably overkill. And if you're really into making fresh pasta, you will probably do it yourself. But it is high tech, fully self-contained, fully automatic, and it does something that I think a lot of people, maybe you would eat more fresh pasta if it were done automatically. So
I think so too, because that's a lot of the work too, is all the kneading and stuff. So if you just add your ingredients and it does all of that for you and spits the good stuff out, like that's probably optimal. Definitely more worth the price to me than the toaster.
Yeah. It's and again, people really seem to enjoy fresh pasta, so maybe this is a good gateway into that. So
yeah.
There's that one. And Philips, that's one of the first times that they made it onto our list, so definitely. There's that one.
I kind of like that. I might get one of those myself if it goes on sale.
Yeah. Well, actually, it is on sale, and it's still $300. So it's normally like $400. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, pretty expensive. But this next one, Carissa, do you grow any of your own herbs, gardens, veggies, anything like that?
I try. I'm not very good at it, but I try.
There you go. Well, maybe this might be your thing then, because it seems to take a lot of the guesswork out of watering and growing and that kind of thing. Hydroponics, not just for pot anymore. No, actually, people are using it to do other kinds of edibles like basil and parsley and stuff like that. Crazy world we're living in. Here we go.
So crazy.
The Aero Garden. And yeah, so this one, it's they have a number of different ones that you can, kind of get, some that are kind of smaller, ones that are entire, like almost like end tables, they're actually pretty substantial that they can, that they can come in. Different pods, I guess they measure them in what kind of pods that they have. And let's see, I can click this one right here. The Farm 24 XL is their top of the line, and we wouldn't talk about anything other than their top of the line. Yeah, so grow enough fresh, safe produce to feed your entire family all year long. Lettuce, vegetables, herbs, and more. Grow everything you love right inside your home. And yeah, that's the cool thing about this one is it's a hydroponic garden that is meant to be kept inside your house. Everything grows through lights that are timed and kind of built into the unit. It has an automated watering system that it waters itself, and they even have a little a little video down here to show you how it's done. But each of the growing seeds or each of the growing things are actually pods. Like you fill the bottom with dirt, and much like a pod, like a Keurig or like a K-cup or something like that. They have seeds with fertilizer, everything they need inside of them. You shove them down into the planter, and of course you add your water and your plant food as well. And you put in your seed pods, and yeah, next thing you know, the whole kit and caboodle is growing on its own inside the house right there.
Awesome.
Yeah, there are no glass sides, so you can still reach in and harvest your vegetables and things like that. There shouldn't be any need for weeding or anything like that. Like you might have to prune the plant itself, but yeah, there's not really a lot of dirt or soil for weeds to kind of pop up in. And
right,
yeah,
and if they're inside, you don't have to worry about bugs as much either. In theory.
Definitely. So reading some of the features here, it has dual motorized 60-watt LED growing light panels. So Chris, if you were looking at that and everyone else out there, the LED lights are kind of on strings. The LED lights kind of get right against the plant, and it's not like it's lighting up your whole home. They kind of lower themselves to the plant's level, so you're not kind of lighting up too much. It's just getting the plant itself. 36 inches of growth height, separate controls for left and right garden, and it has reminders. It sends reminders to your phone to when to add water and plant food as well. So you don't have to, kind of be, you don't have to guess. They have a touchscreen control panel, interactive display. You can see all that there, and even a time scale. Essentially, hey, in 14 days, add plant food. In in a couple hours, add water, things like that. And then on top of that, it should have, and I think it does have like a germination period where it says your tomatoes, for instance, should be ready to harvest in about 30 days or something like that.
Awesome.
yeah, it kind of times the whole thing out. And they even have down
Because that's
here.
the hard stuff, right? Is remembering to water your plants. It's remembering to put the food in and all that stuff. So that really just takes literally all the guesswork out of it. That's great.
Exactly. And then when you're done with the plant, maybe you don't find yourself eating as much basil or whatever that you planted. They have these more growing pods that they sell, and you can just swap. You swap out the plant. You just pull out the pod, pull out the plant, swap in another pod, and kind of sync it with your app, and you're good to go. Like, replanting is just pulling out those pods that you had in there the first time. So
the ones that are already grown in the pods that you removed from the machine, can you replant those? Like, if you wanted to give them to a friend, are they still going to be able
I'm
to
sure that
be
they're still
repotted?
perfectly viable plants with roots and all. Assuming the plant is alive, yes, it is still a perfectly viable plant. Like, they're still plants. So
Right.
Yeah. So yes.
I just didn't know if like maybe their roots were growing into the pods, which for some reason would constrict them for some reason or something like that.
The start of the plant is in the pod, and the roots would grow out from that. But I mean, that would just be kind of pulling the roots out with the soil and that kind of thing. So
Right.
Shouldn't be too hard. I would assume. But yeah, I did find this one rather fun because, and this is just like, this was the family XL, or I'm sorry, the farm 24 XL. So 24 different slots for 24 different pods. They have ones that can be all the way down to 3 different pods at a time. So something like this one here, the Sprout, for 70, the other one was like $800 or something. Yeah, normally $900. Now it's like $700. This one you're looking at about $100, but now it's down to about $70. And yeah, this is just for like 3 different plants and probably 3 different spices or herbs. And the whole thing is fully functional. Sit inside your house, good to go, that kind of thing. Yeah, seems easy, seems lightweight, and yeah, if you're having trouble growing these plants in your home, maybe this is, or outside your home, maybe this is a nice, clean way to do it inside your house.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. I definitely enjoyed that one. So there's that one. Let's see, we're just going to, and by the way, everyone, we're going to have links to all these in the show notes if you want to check these out yourself. This next one, also very simple, but yeah, it was one of the most talked about, if there is such a thing, one of the most talked about smart food scales. And to give you all an idea of what this looks like, imagine a hockey puck with like some kind of silicone no slip plastic kind of draped over it. It's called Drop Scale, and it's very, very simple. I mean, this one, you need to have the app that comes with it because that's the only way that it can display the weight to you. So that was one of the drawbacks that they mentioned. If you don't have the app, if you don't have your smartphone or tablet with you, then you can't see what it's actually doing. But now that you have it, though, it sits right there. And because it has like a no-slip grip, you can put things on it and add to it as you go and see the food scale work in real time as you on your phone or whatever. And then on top of that, much like the smart scale for the liquor, this can do the exact same thing for baking as well. And nice. Yeah, and it has tons of different recipes. They have their own ecosystem with all the different ingredients that you have and that kind of thing. They also mentioned it has really, really good accuracy. It has tons of life. I think it has a year-long battery that, and of course you can recharge it whenever you want. It has not rechargeable, coin cell. So one of those coin batteries. But yeah, 1 coin battery, about a year of life. Wireless control and no slip and heat resistant as well. So, yeah, this one was a little bit on the cheaper side. I think this thing was like $60 or something like that. Let's see.
That's really affordable.
Yeah, but it's a smart food scale, and everything is because it's so integrated with the smart app and kind of smart technology. That's why it made the list here. Was because hey, you need a smartphone, but at the same time, it's very, very simple and very convenient.
And so great because, like, personally, I have trouble baking. Like, I don't like following recipes to save my life, and I find it so difficult to bake things. So having that have the function of the
Is
same
it because
as
you're an
the
innovator, or is it because it's so time consuming to measure everything out?
my culinary creativity cannot be contained by these minuscule recipes. I
Well,
just can't live like that. So
this one does have, and like I said, this one does have, what do they call it? Recipe substitutions or ingredient substitutions. So if you feel like you want to do bananas instead of eggs to make a vegetarian,
Nice.
there are those options in there as well. So
cool.
yeah, highly accurate, very simple, no slip, durable. That whole deal. Drop food scale seemed pretty easy, and again, I liked it. So, yep.
And the app thing's not really the needing the smartphone's not really a killer for me because that's kind of obvious. Like personally,
well, yeah,
a smart thing doesn't have an app. I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, there are a million food scales out there. Going way back to the beginning of our show, when I mentioned you probably don't need most of these things, absolutely. There are a million food scales for way cheaper that have an analog reader right there, and you don't need a smartphone for those at all whatsoever. But this one was very simple, self-contained, and very integrated with its app, which is why it made the list. It made the list not because it's the easiest thing to use. It made the list because it is the most integrated thing to use. So there you go. Okay. Yep, there's that one. And let's go ahead. This one should be another no-brainer as well. This has to do with the meter. 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 And I say that because it is a meat thermometer.
Excellent name. They really won that one.
Yes, the meter. And so thermometer, meter. So they mentioned that it comes in a very, very nice little wood case. You pull it out, stick it in your meat. It's fully heat resistant, all that good stuff. I mean, they're all wireless. Like every meat thermometer that I've used always has like that little wire coming out of it, which isn't really a big deal, when it comes down to it. But, minding the wires is something that you really have to pay attention to.
Because it could just melt off, right?
Well, not that they melt off, but they can get really hot. They can touch your skin if you're not paying attention. They can burn you. They can get tangled with each other. That whole thing.
Various cord things.
Yeah, cord versus cordless. Be it a mouse, be it a meat thermometer, you have the same struggles. Yeah. Now, this one comes with I think you can either buy one or like a set of 4 if you want a number of them. They have internal and ambient temperatures. There's no wires. They are very, very accurate. They can go up to 33 feet, 165 feet, or Wi-Fi ranges. That's good for people who have Wi-Fi in their kitchen, which most people do nowadays, or if you want long-range Bluetooth, that works as well, so you can walk away. You don't have to be right up on your grill to actually be able to see what it is you're doing. And even more so if it's inside of, let's say, an oven, just connect it to Wi-Fi and you can connect this thing to your smartphone. You can see it right there. So, oh my God, I'm getting so hungry doing this segment. This is, this might have been a bad idea, but...
That is a good looking steak.
Yeah, no, they do really good. And so with that being said, and this is something that I run into, I have a meat thermometer and it has like little alarms and chimes and stuff like that. But especially when I'm grilling, I leave it outside and I leave it in the meat. The problem is I have to kind of run outside and check it every, 10, 15 minutes to see where it's at. This would kind of solve that problem because it's on your phone, it's available, you're gonna get the readings from wherever, even more hands off. And I definitely like the fact that it's so durable, even while being wireless and so connected. It's durable enough that you can leave it in there to cook with the meat. So
awesome, especially if you're smoking something or something that takes many, many hours to do it.
Yeah, that's actually a very, very good point. Where smoking, the best thing about smoking is that you close the lid and you don't touch it. Like actually opening up the lid to, check your meat and mess with it, actually really messes with the cooking process. So being able to not have to open everything is a huge benefit. And by the way, it looks like the different the different versions of the meat thermometer. They have the 33, 165, and the Wi-Fi. So each one of them is actually their own different product to do this. So
okay.
Connected anywhere. It has an app. The app has cooking, the estimated cooking time to let you know. So you can kind of target, you put your steak on the grill, say, I want my steak medium, which is like 144, 143. They will give you an estimated cooking time that, hey, 5 minutes from now, it's probably going to hit 140, that kind of thing. So you can kind of set a timer for your meat and it will estimate when it will be ready all throughout the app. It will have cooking alerts. It will have a digital meat catalog, so it can have different kinds of meat and the temperature. Every time I cook, I always go back and Google what meat I'm cooking and what the proper doneness is. This would have that built into the app right away, so you don't have to do that step. And of course, you can even have multiple dishes at once. So you can see here, especially with the Wi-Fi one, you could be tracking something in the oven, something on the grill. You could be baking something. You could track multiple things all throughout the same app. So there you go.
And obviously you can use it for things other than meat, right? Like you could put it into
baking. Yes.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So if you were baking a cake and you knew that the internal temperature of a cake should be X, then you could definitely do that as well. Anything that you need a thermometer for. I mean, other than a person, I wouldn't trust this with a person. But yeah, this one is very, very cool. And again, I definitely loved how advanced the app was with the device. Let's see, price. We should probably look at the price. So, $100 for the 100 and. Yeah, so with a Bluetooth repeater, so essentially you would put the Bluetooth repeater somewhere throughout your home, turns the 33 foot into 165 feet. That's $100. So I'm sure that the shorter range one you're looking at, if I had to guess, probably $70. And then the full blown one, 4 different probes, Wi-Fi connected, $270 for these things.
Okay.
It's expensive, but it's also pretty high tech. So.
If you do a lot of that stuff and use a lot of thermometers anyway, it's probably worth it, especially for the big pack.
Yeah. And so the Wi-Fi range, $270. Pretty cool, though. Pretty cool.
Definitely.
Looking at the time here, boy, I'm running out of time very, very quickly. So let's go ahead and jump to something that I'm pretty passionate about. And this is the Anova. And this is someone that we actually met out at CES this year for a different product, which we'll talk to pretty quickly. But Carissa, what do you know about sous vide and sous vide cooking method?
Isn't that where you essentially bag up whatever it is you're trying to cook and you boil it at a very specific temperature?
Pretty close. Boiling optional and really probably never. But yes, it's a lot of times you vacuum seal it. You don't have to vacuum seal it, but it's about removing as much air as you can, putting it in a bath of warm water. And by warm, I mean I've done steaks at like 134 degrees. I've done ribs at like 140. I've done apples for like caramel apples. I've done apples at like 170 degrees. I think that one of the, like a perfectly poached egg is like 163 or something like that. This device and the Inovo precision cooker, you get a tub, a bucket, a tub, whatever. Of course, you can pay Inovo, $70 to send you a plastic tub, or you can go anywhere and just get one yourself. It has like a little motor in there. It has a heating element, and it will perfectly keep the water temperature, whatever it's sitting in, a certain degrees. And there you cook your food. The cool thing about sous vide, you can cook meats to a perfectly safe to cook temperature, perfectly safe to eat temperature, and like keep it at that. So think of like a grill. The fire can get up to the grill can get like 500 degrees, and you're in this struggle to turn this hopefully room temperature piece of meat, and internally you're trying to get it to 134. So you have a 500 degree grill, a 70 degree piece of meat, and yeah, that's the whole idea behind grilling and cooking. You have to strike that balance of making sure it doesn't burn and it just cooks perfectly. The sous vide is a little bit better because you set the water to 134 degrees and it will never get above that. It will never get below that. It keeps it at that perfect temperature. Leave it there for like 2 hours and it's perfectly cooked. The texture is very, very different than I think anyone has ever tasted who has not done sous vide. It's very, very tender. And after it's done sous videing, then you do your thing. You add your char, you add your sear to it. Like, it's not done after you're done sous videing it, but it's a start. It's definitely a start. So
it gets the inside cooked, which is what counts anyway, and then you can do the rest of the stuff.
Yes, and then you put a sear on it, and it's definitely different. But again, it's the internals of it, like, because searing takes like 2 minutes. The internals are perfectly cooked every single time. That's the benefit of sous vide. And so no high-tech kitchen gadget would not be complete without the Inovo, because again, this is just the timer, the temperature, the heating element, and really all you need is this thing and the tub and the water, and you're good to go. So it's actually pretty affordable when it comes to different cooking methods. And I think this one, this one sells for normally about $400. They have a sale right now for like $200. There are cheaper one out there, but I think Inovo is like one of the originals out there. So
how much does a sous vide cost in comparison?
Sous vide is a cooking method. I think you're talking about like the sous vide supreme,
the device.
Like, yeah, and that's the one that I have. That thing was fully self-contained. I believe that was like $800.
Okay.
That one was a bit different because it was fully self-contained and it came with a vacuum sealer and things like that.
Gotcha.
This one, you provide your own tub and all that kind of stuff, but definitely much more affordable to get into. Personally, I would highly encourage everyone to at least try to get into sous vide. It's not for everyone. It's my mother's actually very, very against anything that I cook within the sous vide. I personally love it. It's my preferred way to cook a steak. So there you go.
Why doesn't she like it?
I can't use these words on the air, but her main gripe is that it's too tender. Cooking with sous vide has a way of breaking down, kind of like the connective tissue and the cartilage and rendering the meat in such a way that it is a different cooking method. So if you're expecting if you're expecting what you're used to with a grilled steak, you're not going to get it. It's something completely different, and I personally love it. So
gotcha.
There you go. Okay, so moving on here. Man, not going to have enough time for everything, and we're going to include all this and more in the show notes. Let's talk about this one. So, Carissa, we talked about all the drinks, and I probably should have included it with the drinks, but I included it with like the medium-sized kitchen appliances instead. Pico Brew. We actually had these gentlemen on the show when they had their, not this generation, when they had their Pico Brew Z. I think we had them on the show to talk about this, and that was about like a year and a half ago. Far too long, but still, this is for brewing your own beer in your home, and you set it up on your kitchen counter. The Pico, think of like K-cups for like coffee, but they have different malt and hops and a bunch of different additives. And you can either get your own loose ingredients, you can get your own barley, your own grain, whatever that you're going to ferment, and pour them into this machine, or get the Pico packs and have them do it for you. And like over the course of like 2 weeks, I think is what it normally takes to brew something, or however long it takes to kind of heat it up and brew it. The whole thing will it will handle everything. Like it will dump in the ingredients at the proper time. It'll dump in the yeast. It will set the temperatures. It will add the water. It will let you know when it's ready to to kind of pack it away. The whole thing, beginning to end, is a complete, brewing experience. And so 7 to 14 days is typically what it takes to brew your own beer. And I thought this was pretty cool. So, pretty cool. But
I was going to say, especially for hobbyists, because even out here in Colorado, like craft beer is like a whole thing. So like out here, this would be hopping,
Carissa,
if you will.
I want you to take up my sacred charge with me. My mission is for everyone who has their own microbrew. Indian pale ales are disgusting. Stop it. They're way too bitter. Every hobbyist who does this, I don't know what it is about IPAs. Everyone makes an IPA and they are all disgusting.
Well, the mission is to make the nastiest, hoppiest IPA they can find, so that way they can brag to their friends and say, I have the grossest IPA.
They all succeed. They all win. They all take first place.
They're all the worst.
They are all the worst simultaneously. So
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
With that being said, okay, so this thing, you're right. That's actually when they came on the show. That's the people who, who are really getting into it for the first time. Because people who are more than hobbyists are going to go a little bit bigger. This makes a certain amount of servings, and it's not that big. But hey, if this is your first foray into it, you can get something as low as like $400. That'll give you a number of beers, and you'd be good to go. This one, though, the most expensive one, all the way up to $2,800. So
I feel like that's affordable for what it is, though.
Yeah, well, and that one was like the full blown, kind of much bigger. Boy. 10 liters or 2.5 gallons of beer is what it renders at the end of it all. And by the way, we were talking about sous vide. It actually doubles as a sous vide when it's not.
What?
Yeah. So
cool.
Because you can set the temperature and all that good stuff. So it actually doubles as a sous vide. So hey, maybe you can justify some of the cost there. Yeah. So there you go. You can brew your own beer in your own home. It's not that hard. All fully contained.
A nice combination with the other drink mixer.
Yep.
For your home bar.
Absolutely. And hey, you can make your own beer on top of your cocktails, because and that's the cool part is like, if you want something that is a little bit more to your taste, like you can make beer. It's not just like, oh, throw in the Bud Light packets and now it's Bud Light. No, it's completely yours and personal. So Carissa, I think we have time for one more, and I think we're going to do this one. June oven. This thing got a lot of press, and I want to talk about this one. Essentially, I think this thing's like an air fryer, if I'm not mistaken. But they say that it's a time-saving kitchen companion. It serves up 12 cooking appliances in one machine, and it's no bigger than a microwave. So it does a number of things.
That's a tall order.
I know, it promises so much. So this thing promises to be, in no particular order, here we go, 12 different appliances: convection oven, air fryer, a grill, a roaster, a slow cooker, a dehydrator, a toaster, a reheat, well, I guess so like a microwave, but a reheater, a pizza oven, a proofer for bread, a broiler for meat, and a warming drawer, well, for warming things.
Dehydrator is the weirdest one out of all that. The rest of those I can be like, okay, because those have like heating elements, but like a dehydrator just seems...
Dehydrator, I think the same thing happens where you want a lot of airflow, you want a lot of steady, like not too much heat, but like a little bit of heat, a constant, steady, low heat, and it will eventually, dry things out. It definitely makes sense. So it can do all these things, and the best thing about it is that it's fully contained in an app where you can have different programs. You tell it what you're cooking, you can tell it what you're doing. If you're just trying to imagine you sous vide a steak, you put it in there, you're saying, I'm just trying to put a sear on it, and it will sear your steak for you. Or if you throw your steak in raw, you can say, hey, I got a raw steak, cook this thing for me, cook it medium rare, and it will cook the whole thing for you, beginning to end, no steps needed. Yeah, so, and it's a pretty good size. When they say it's no bigger than an oven, 2 chickens. I know chickens aren't that big, but it can do about 2 chickens at a time. It's a pretty decent size, I'm looking at this image here. It's a pretty decent sized unit. And yeah, it's fully functional with the smart app. So, and of course the app itself will also have recipes and things that you can follow and a lot of different cooking times. Pretty self-contained, which is what I liked about it.
Yeah, it seems really cool. It's got a lot of functions, which I feel is probably going to justify the cost of it.
Yeah, well, actually,
And the air fryer is super cool. I've never used one of those, but I've always been really interested in them.
an air fryer, and for those who don't know out there, an air fryer is really, at the end of the day, just a convection oven, but like on steroids, where it can put out even more heat. It has even more airflow, and it fries, but it's not going to be like a fried in oil kind of thing, which is actually its selling point. It's much healthier to do that. So.
Right.
Yeah. So this, and by the way, all these in one. I feel like one of those TV salesperson. All for the low price of $999.
Oh, that's not bad.
$1,000 to replace a number of them. Personally, when I'm in the kitchen, if something does just one thing, I'm less likely to use it because it takes up counter space. It's only a waffle maker, for instance. Boy, I don't feel like dealing with it. But, hey, just like a stovetop or something else, if it has multiple uses, it's more likely to get used. So this is definitely, this is pretty good. And again, it's not too big. Like, it will fit on your counter. So not available yet. It's available for pre-order, but they should be shipping sometime early next year. Carissa, we're done. We have a lot of stuff we didn't talk about, including Wi-Fi connected kitchens, kitchen hubs, if you know what that is, Instant Pot, the one, the only, Thermomix. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about done here. If you want to check out more, check out ComputerAmerica.com. In the show notes, we'll have links to everything. Carissa, have a great weekend. Everyone else out there, have a great weekend. We'll catch you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.